Hey everybody, this is Ferris.
And this is Caleb Lenoir, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guyz. We here again, Ferris. How are you doing? What's going on? How was your week?
Man, this week's been really good. Let's go through and kind of see what I did this week. So this week, at home with sick children. After a long weekend, I think everyone came back with a cough, cold, snotty nose, or something like that.
Oh,
and so
Lena.
Yeah, so man,
Lena
so playing Dr. Dad and my wife is playing Dr. Mom. So we're trying to get the little ones back up to par.
Okay.
Because man, like it's funny how at night they the cold and stuff come out, but then throughout the daytime they're good to go. So
they're taking over the world.
Yeah, they're taking over the house, eating everything. So much energy.
Oh,
I'm like,
goodness.
what's going on, man? But how's your week coming along?
My week is coming along great. I actually went for dessert tasting, and so I actually for the first time. Not for the first time. I tried their cupcakes before, but I never tried their cakes, Cami Cakes.
Okay,
so I tried a strawberry cheesecake from Cami Cakes. I got the whole cake.
How many? Oh, you not the cupcake, the cake.
I ordered a whole cake.
Wow. Okay.
And when I mean to tell you, because I had a little kickback at the house, and when I mean to tell you, it was amazing. Everybody just loved the cake.
Did it have like a strawberry filling to it, or?
No, we had fresh strawberries on it. It had fresh strawberries. It had a nice cream soft. It was like a nice cream cheese frosting, but it was really, really sweet. And it wasn't as overindulging as you think. Like it was a nice slices, but it was just like really sweet, but it was good. It was like all of it's gone.
So do you like the buttercream frosting or whipped? I'm a fan of the whipped.
This was a mixture between both, it seems like, because I'm a whipped fan. I'm a whipped cream frosting fan, but this was like a little bit of both. It wasn't heavy like the heavy frostings how they normally be, but it seemed like it was whipped, but it was kind of like creamy too. It was really good. So shout out to Cami Cakes. Cami Cakes did really good with this cake.
Oh my gosh, I haven't had those in years, man.
Yeah, they have key lime pie, they had key lime cake, red velvet, different. They have like 3 strawberry cakes, different types of strawberry cakes.
Let's stop talking about these cakes because I'm about to jump about this podcast studio and just go get me a cake, man. Oh my gosh. But man, I know we were talking earlier about just things that's going on. I know it's fall 2021 and seasons are changing. And I know I recently read an article that gas prices in California are spiking up to $7.50, almost $8 a gallon, man.
Oh my goodness.
And that led me to go through and think about inflation and even hyperinflation. That's even another conversation, is the hyperinflation part. And I'm like, man, that's incredible. I know you travel a lot. Have you seen any inflated prices or travel? You're out and about a lot. Have you seen anything that's been inflated over the past?
Well, first I have an electric car, so I don't worry about the inflation, the gas prices. That's what when you said $7 in California, $7 is expensive for gas prices, especially in Georgia if they're around like $3.58 or so. No, with travel prices, believe it or not, the airlines are really, really pretty much kind of pretty reasonable now, especially if you book your flights early. Uber. Now, I have seen an increase in Uber prices, especially because I would go from the airport to this and it was like be an elevated cost. And so I have seen that. But I'm really like, my goodness, in California, $7 for a gallon of gas. Wow. That is really, really expensive. What happened? Like, did a pipeline or oil line bust? Or what's going on with that?
It just said it's like more so higher prices in crude oil. And I know right now with the logistics and oil and everything, I think, honestly speaking, I think sometimes things happen to go through and push. This is probably my conspiracy theory person coming out, but I think sometimes things happen to go through and push agendas. I know that we're looking like, I know we're the world is wanting to go more electric vehicles, right. EVs. Right. And so, of course, my theory is, okay, if for some reason crude oil prices go up, that means gas prices go up. That means people are stop buying more vehicles and go more EV. That's my theory. It's funny how Tesla, they're about to go through and make some record numbers. And stuff. It's just, that's my conspiracy theory.
He's a conspiracy theory. But you know what? If you think about it, they're making these electric cars now even more affordable. And so, yeah, I think that I read something in like some kind of report or so that by 2032 or 20, it was some number like that they were going to stop all gas vehicles, stop the production on gas vehicles and go to electric vehicles. And it's helping the world out, and it's helping the world and the geography of everything. So I think that's a great move. But talking about hyperinflation, I have seen also the real estate market. The real estate market fares has gone up tremendously. You know, like the rental market in Atlanta right now, you know, back pre-COVID was, you know, well, Atlanta is always kind of creeping up, but pre-COVID, you could rent between, you know, $1,000 to $1,500, you know, relatively a great location, etc. Now those prices has gone over to like to $2,000 to $2,500 for pretty much the same identical space. And so the real estate market has really gone up for hyperinflation.
And I think that's the part that gets me is we expect inflation. I don't expect to go through and actually purchase the same loaf of bread that we had in 1986. For 50 cents a loaf. I don't expect in 2021 to spend 51 cents. So I understand it costs more, inflation, the dollar, the value and everything kind of fluctuate. And I expect to go there and pay a little bit more. Right. But the hyper part, that's the part that gets me is like, why? Why? And because what it does, it prices people out of certain things. And then what it does, it eventually decreases the value of our currency, which is the dollar. Right. It really decreases the value of it. And while everything else is going up, our like the cost of living is going up, but people's pay is not going up. And it's hard as entrepreneurs to go through and match the hyper part, because I know, Caleb, we work in a regulated industry, and I know a lot of our home care services, they're billed through Medicaid, which is one of the lowest reimbursements there's out there.
The lowest. Yeah.
The lowest. And so one thing is we operate within a finite number, and we want to go through and actually pay our caregivers more, want to pay our staff more. But when we're working within a certain budget, we have to go through and operate within that. But when outside those four walls, the world is inflating everything and everything's going up, it makes it seems like, why can't we go through and actually just increase pay to go through and match that? But in business and economics, it's kind of hard to do that when you're working in different regulatory industries such as ourselves as well. So I think one thing that I pose a question is like, is it necessary? Like, is this hyperinflation necessary? I understand inflation, cost of goods and everything, it increases, but hyperinflation, is that truly necessary?
Yeah, that's like, okay, because I remember also, especially like with the real estate market, just getting back on that. I was hearing Lowe's and all these other big manufacturing companies with these warehouse places. The price of lumber, and lumber was up ridiculous. And they were like, oh my goodness, lumber is up at this price. I'm like, really? And that's what's causing the housing market and the housing market to go up tremendously. And so it's just like everything is growing. I recently read an article about fish, meats, and poultry has gone up 4.3% Ferris within short of a year.
Wow.
And so we understand that typical inflation is around 3%, you know, annually, but 4.3% for fish and meats and stuff, that's a lot, man.
That's crazy. And it's going to continue to go up. And I think those are the things right there that we look at. And I look at some of the domino effects. I'm going to go back to the gas part, man. Look at the domino effects that it affects and it impacts several industries as well. Sticking with the healthcare theme, ambulances, they run off of fuel. So when they're going to pick up someone in an emergency, when they're having to go there and pay $5, $6, $7 a gallon, it impacts the bottom line, which they can go there and pay their team members, the profitability of the business, the expansion of the business. Look at Medicaid transportation services.
Right, that's another key.
These individuals, they go in and day out, taking people to dialysis and to doctor's appointments. And just think, they're already going through and actually getting reimbursed a small amount, but now they're having to put more fuel in to go through and actually carry their patients to different appointments.
Home delivered meals, you know.
Home delivered meals. Yes. A lot of seniors, they depend on those type of things.
Right.
And so my thing is, when is the cutoff? Like, what is the answer to this? Because I think that sometimes, like, of course, if that goes up, let's say if reimbursement goes up, that means taxes go up. It's like it's forever going up, and eventually we can only take so much as an economy. We can only take so much as a people. So I believe in inflation, natural inflation, but the hyperinflation part, it's a recipe for a perfect storm of disaster, man.
What are some ways that we could prepare for hyperinflation? And I'm saying that's our conversation today, especially talking to our listeners. What are some ways that we could prepare for this hyperinflation? Because, you know, think that it's gonna it's gonna come down. So just let's talk about some ways we can prepare.
Man, so I went through and I was looking at an article on. Let me go through and actually pull this article up as well. It's actually on inquiry.net. And so one of the things that I read about was how to prepare for, and this is something that we all can do. First of all, is just paying off debts.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
While we have the funds that we have,
credit card debt,
whatever debts that we can pay off, pay them off, because especially if the dollar is actually decreasing, there's no need to go through and get in more debt.
Right. Because
that means you're going to have to work more. You're going to stress out more. It's just it's bad juju. It's a bad domino effect that you want to do. So paying off debt. Caleb, another thing is just reducing expenses, man.
Right.
Do we really need that shiny new object? Do we really just kind of go through and think about the things that you need and the things that you want? And there's a difference in that. That's something I'm trying to teach our daughters as well, the difference between needs and wants. Going through and actually think about that to reduce those expenses, because my thing is, as inflation goes up, you want to go through and hedge yourself for that as well. You don't want to have to work yourself to death because you're trying to go through and pay a bill that you elected to have due to credit cards, due to excessive debt. So those are the type of things that I go through and actually think about as well. Are there any things that you would recommend?
Yeah, I would recommend definitely stockpiling. Whenever you go to grocery stores, make sure you get bulk items. And so your bulk tissues, your bulk meats, if you like that, and vegetables. Make sure you get those large quantities. I think you can save more money going to a Sam's or a Whole Foods or Walmart to get the bulk items instead of just kind of getting those individual packages. So I would definitely say that. I think that's a really, really great, a great hedge. And last but not least, you have to just kind of stay positive. Yeah. You have to have some faith, knowing that you will get through it. This I always hear the saying, tough people don't last, but tough time don't last, but tough people do. And so you have to really embrace and get in the trenches and say, you know what, this may be temporary right now, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be positive, and I'm definitely going to overcome this hyperinflation.
Yeah. And Caleb, one thing I'm going to go and put the top on this. One thing, of course, as an entrepreneur, I think that we all can find other ways to make money. Because in essence, to go through and pay off debt, you may only be making whatever you're making at your 9 to 5. You may have to pull some extra time working Uber, or actually if you have a skill set, doing some stuff at night to go through and actually get those extra coins to go through and pay off that debt in a timely manner, or to go through and reduce that debt as well. I remember even as I was working with Prime Care, and actually owner of Prime Care as well, I signed up. I was an Uber driver. I always had a side hustle. I learned.
He was an Uber driver.
I was an Uber driver in Atlanta. And until somebody threw up in my car, and I said, you know what?
My goodness.
That's enough. I'm good on that. And the other reason why I actually stopped, because I thought I was heading home, but I got a call to go and pick up someone, and they took me back like an hour away from my house. And I said, you know what? This is just too much.
Well, I think Ferris said he wanted to be I remember the time, because you said you wanted to be an Uber driver so you can learn the city and kind of meet people and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't think I'll be an Uber driver.
But just finding other ways to go through and do it. I learned how to build websites. So guys, YouTube University, Google University, these are things that you can go through and utilize to go through. If you're a skilled CNA or a skilled nurse, go out there and get the PRN job. If you're skilled at secretarial things, go through and actually knock on businesses' doors to go through and see how can you help them out, because businesses, they want to improve their processes. And I think finding ways to make extra income is going to go through and hedge you as a person and you as a family against the hyperinflation that's happening. And what it's going to do is prepare you for the next level. That's one thing at our organization, Prime Care. I love the spirit of entrepreneurship that's hitting
we have so many entrepreneurs within the organization. I mean,
this is almost like a school for entrepreneurs to come in and learn and develop and to go through and actually fly. Right. And that's the thing, is kind of connecting with organizations such as to go through and do that. So that's just one way to go through and hedge as well. And that's the personal responsibility part, coming out and taking ownership of what you can do to go through, not waiting on, okay, I want to raise here, I want to do that. Okay, what can I do personally to make it happen for myself, because I know it's coming and it's my responsibility to get myself out.
Well, just remember this, guys, and everyone that's watching, our viewers, in order to combat hyperinflation, we went over those topics. Definitely pay off your debt, reduce your expenses, make sure you purchase and buy in bulk, as well as find ways to make additional income, and stay positive. positive.
Yes.
Well, that's a great episode, Ferris. We are just crunching these episodes out, man, and down. I want all of our viewers and to subscribe to our Spotify Conversation with the Homecare Guyz podcast, as well as give us a 5-star review. We need your reviews.
Yes,
we need
yes.
your 5-star reviews. And so I would encourage you guys to follow, subscribe, and give a review.
All right. Until next time, we're your Homecare Guys. We appreciate you all tuning in.
Stay safe.